Good afternoon. This is the beginning of week 5 of Social Work 633. So let's first go to our introduction. This week we are talking about structural family therapy. And the person who started structural family therapy is Salvador Minuchin. And he adapted systems and concepts to his work with families in need, looking at both the internal family system as well as the broader social systems that affect family functioning. The learning objectives for this week are as follows: to provide definitions of some key concepts in structural family therapy, to describe typical interventions used in this approach and identify when they are used in the video of a structural family therapy session, describe the major goals of a first session with a family, and practice the skills required for conducting a helpful first session. There are a large number of learning activities for this week. So the first is the readings. The first one is Minuchin et al., Working with Families of the Poor. In the text, Chapter 6 on structural family therapy and an additional article. You are asked to choose one of the following articles, but download all of the articles for future reference. There is a website, which is the Minuchin Center for the Family, and then a media, A House Divided, Structural Therapy with a Black Family by Dr. Harry Aponte, who has written extensively in this area of family and structural family therapy. So our first discussion is about the Aponte video, and you are to complete all of the following. Citing from the reading, please identify 2 different structural interventions used in the video of a family session with Dr. Aponte. What is your assessment of this family structure, including an assessment of the boundaries between individuals and subsystems? Did you see Aponte follow the outline of a first family session as described in the Weber et al. Article? And if so, which of the steps did he follow, and what did he do that you could see yourself doing in a first session with a family? And you are to respond to at least one of your classmates. Next is the second post, which is an initial family therapy session role play. So please begin by reading the case example provided for a first session role play, and then imagine that you are conducting a first family session with this family. Using Screencast-O-Matic to do your recording, record 5 to 10 minutes total of yourself demonstrating what you might say in 3 different segments of a first family. Please be sure to use the exact words that you would say to them as though they are in the room with you. And there are prompts, questions to follow. In the first segment, how would you begin the first meeting in terms of laying out the goals and structure and starting to join with the family so you can gain their trust? And the second segment, what might you say to interrupt any bickering or blaming that the parents may start to do with each other? And then the third segment, how might you end the session, including any homework that you might suggest to help them meet the goals that they have set for themselves. If you haven't recorded in Screencast, there is a video on how to do that. And the guidelines as you're doing your initial post by Thursday. And then your work on the forms for this week will be graded as part of the weekly discussion grade. We have 2 written assignments this week. One is a continuation on the group family therapy theory grid, which is due Sunday. So remember your groups. You're still working within those groups to answer the question on the grid. And then the next is a submission of your genogram. This is a first draft of your family of origin. So you're going to submit that. The instructions, I believe, say do it in Word. I will accept if you take a picture of it and send it as an attachment. Be as complete as possible. If you are a family of origin, you don't know who they are, you might be adopted into a family, then do that family in terms of as much information as you can. If you have an extremely large family, again, enter as much information as you can in the genogram. There are 2 points. One is for you to go back and explore your family of origin, but 2, to understand how to use the genogram. So again, in all things, do the best you can. And lastly, there's always a self-care activity, so please avail yourself of the opportunity to take a few minutes. The fact that Salvador Minuchin was born in Argentina but worked in the United States at Philadelphia Child Guidance for a number of years. The assumptions with working with families using this therapeutic approach is that families do have strengths and that families are organizations. And just like all organizations, they are made up of subsystems. And these subsystems also have issues of power, hierarchy, boundaries that need to be considered if we are making changes within the family structure. A key concept in family structural therapy is the idea of joining with the family. The therapist takes on a leadership role with the family and guides the family in understanding why the interactions in that family need to be restructured, why problems are occurring, etc. Doing work with families, the therapist also often will have people role play and demonstrate some of the interactions that are occurring in the family and help them see where these issues need to be restructured. Another key concept is the discussion of boundaries, and boundaries can be a mesh, they can be weak, they can be too diffused, they can be rigid, or too disengaged. And so the therapeutic intervention in terms of the therapist joining is a guide to help people see what is going on with those boundaries and why some of the interactions may be dysfunctional or producing problems with communication in the family. Another concept is around restructuring, helping people, family members with the boundary setting, helping them to reframe the situation and also challenging unproductive assumptions that are occurring in the family. So again, families have strengths. They often can find their own solutions, but in structural family therapy, the idea is that the therapist serves as the guide to help them find those solutions. With that, I look forward to reading your posts and your assignments. Again, if you have any questions, please email me as quickly as possible at the email through Outlook or at norma.thomas13@gmail.com. I will answer your questions as quickly as possible, and again, look forward to reading your posts and assignments. Thank you.